Long ago, before iron roads crossed the earth and before cities rose to steal the horizon, there stood a quiet village named Makoma, wrapped between two mountains and a river that glittered like melted moonlight. The river was beautiful to look at, but feared more than the darkest forest. For anyone who crossed it after dusk woke up the next morning having forgotten their name. Men forgot the names of their children, wives forgot their husbands, and even elders forgot their own histories. The river stole names, and with them, identity itself. So the villagers lived like prisoners trapped on one side of the water, never daring to cross once the sun went down. Among the people of Makoma lived a small, bright-eyed girl named Kaina. She was curious in a way that made adults nervous and spirits restless. Her grandmother, Mama Zua, was the village storyteller. Every night, children gathered around her fire to hear the legends of spirits, kings, queens, and gods. But Kaina, restless as wind, always sat near the edge of the circle, her eyes drifting toward the silver river, wondering what secrets moved beneath its shining skin. "Do not go near that water," Mama Zua warned her every night. "The river eats more than fish." But Kaina desired answers more than sleep. Why did the river steal names? Where did those names go? How could water be hungry? Season after season turned until one year the rains abandoned the sky. The wells dried, the earth cracked, and the crops shriveled like leaves in fire. Without water, Makoma would die. Across the river lay fertile land where streams still flowed and fruit trees bent under the weight of water droplets. But to reach it, the villagers would have to cross at night, when the river demanded a price. The chief gathered the people, and sorrow weighed on every face. The river was the only passage to survival, yet crossing meant losing themselves forever. That night, as the air hummed with fear and hunger, Kaina could not sleep. She wandered outside, looked at the trembling huts, saw thirsty children, and heard the whispers of desperate adults. She walked toward the river, drawn by something older than language. The moon poured silver light across the water's back, and the surface shivered, as if listening. Kaina stepped closer, and the current crept up to meet her feet. The moment her skin touched the water, a cold voice curled around her like smoke. "Go back, child of Makoma." The river rippled, glowing faint blue. Kaina's heart hammered, but her feet stayed firm. "Tell me why you steal our names," she demanded. The river rose slowly, shaping itself into a trembling figure of water and memory. A spirit towered above her, made of flowing silver and fragments of whispers. "I am Lukono," it said, in a voice that sounded like 1,000 forgotten prayers. "Long ago, I was guardian of this valley. I brought rain, protected your ancestors from war, and kept away the spirits that roamed the mountains. But your people grew greedy. They wanted immortality, power to escape death itself. When I refused, they cursed me. They bound my soul to the river and left me to drown in silence. My only way to stay alive was to swallow memory, names, stories, identity. That is how I became the river that steals." Kaina felt sorrow pull at her chest. A protector turned prisoner. A river turned hungry. But Lukono was not finished. "Now the drought has come. The people of Makoma will cross. I will be forced to drink every name until no one remembers who they are. Unless," and his voice deepened, "someone frees me." Kaina did not flinch. "How can you be freed?" The river shook, revealing a dark passage beneath the surface. Deep below lies a stone. Carved into it is my true name. Speak it out loud, and I will be released. But darkness guards it, and once you enter, I cannot help you." Kaina looked back at her village. She thought of the thirsty children and the dying crops. She swallowed her fear the way a warrior swallows pain. "I will go." The river pulled apart like two curtains of water, revealing a tunnel of glimmering darkness. Kaina took a breath and dove into the cold belly of the river. The deeper she swam, the darker the world became. Strange fish with eyes like candles drifted past her. Broken masks and old bones slept on the riverbed, treasures from forgotten centuries. Finally, she reached a cave where water did not move. In the center stood a great stone, wrapped in chains made of bone and lightning. Strange symbols crawled across its surface, shifting like smoke. Before she could get closer, the cavern trembled. From the darkness rose a monstrous shape, massive, violent, twisted from every stolen memory the river had consumed. Its body was made of screaming faces, broken voices, and nameless souls. It lunged at her, jaws wide, like a shadow trying to swallow light. The impact threw her against the stone and knocked breath from her chest. The creature charged again. Kaina remembered the stories Mama Zua always told her. Names are stories. Stories defeat silence. Her hand trembled as she reached into her pocket. She carried a tiny calabash filled with ashes from her grandmother's sacred storytelling fire. She released the ashes into the water. They burst into glowing streams of memory, voices of the villagers, songs of children, laughter of ancestors. The creature screamed as light cracked through its body. The stolen memories escaped, lifting like fireflies toward the surface. The cabin walls shook. Kaina pressed her hand to the chained stone, and the letters carved into it twisted, glowed, and rearranged themselves into a single ancient name. She opened her mouth and shouted with everything inside her, "Lukono!" The chain shattered, the stone split open, releasing a pillar of blinding water that carried Kaina back to the surface. She broke through like someone rising from the beginning of the world. The spirit of Lukono rose behind her, no longer bound, no longer sorrowful, but bright as dawn. "You freed me, child," he said, touching her forehead with a gentle hand of light. "Your courage restores what was stolen." The river flashed white, and every forgotten name rushed back to its owner. Villagers awoke in their beds, suddenly knowing who they were again. Mothers remembered their children, lovers recognized each other, elders wept as old songs returned to their tongues. Then, the clouds, silent for months, opened. Rain fell in sheets, heavy and sweet. The land drank deeply, and new life rose from the earth. The people of Makoma survived because one small girl chose courage over fear. Lukono gifted Kaina something no other mortal possessed. She could hear every whisper of the land, every voice of water, every story forgotten by time. "You are now keeper of names," he told her. "No memory will ever be lost while you live." Kaina walked home glowing like water under moonlight. Mama Zua cried with joy as she embraced her granddaughter. Kaina leaned into her ear and whispered, "I remembered." From that day on, travelers from distant kingdoms came to Makoma to hear the girl who saved a river and freed a spirit. They say that on moonlit nights, if you stand near the water and listen closely, you will hear Lukono's voice in the wind. A name is a story is a life, and nothing truly dies as long as someone remembers.